So you know semantic code's important, but embeddings are even more important. Let's cook with them in the next episode of the Cozy AI Kitchen. So we know about regular computer code, we love it, and when the Cozy AI Kitchen was born, semantic code came into the foreground. Pretty exciting, right? But those of you who have been watching our various props may have noticed the most important canister. It reads long-grade embeddings, vectors just like your grandma used to make. Now, what are embeddings? What is semantic code? Well, recently I was at South by Southwest in the context of design and code, trying to help more people cook with it, and I made some new recipes. Let's go into my new recipes. Okay, so on screen you're seeing a system from 1999. That's a few years ago. It's called the Design by Numbers system, something I invented on a whim, thinking that I could teach anyone who is visual how to code. So the first thing you learn is the paper command. Paper 50 makes this gray square gray. Paper 100 makes it black. Paper 0 makes it white. This comes in a 20-chapter book. That's chapter 1. It's pretty easy. Paper 33, that's chapter 1. You get past chapter 1 because you're kind of bored and you go to chapter 2. In chapter 2, you can set the pen. I'm going to set a pen 0, which is, doesn't change. Strange. Let me change it to pen 100, black. Didn't change as well. I tricked you. Actually, it did change. In the cyber world, the computer has its meta hand ready to draw, but it's not drawing anything because you haven't told it what to draw. So paper, you saw it. Pen, you didn't see it, but it happened inside the computer. Chapter 3 is simply drawing a line. When you draw a line, you connect 2 points, x, y, x, y. You see that. Let me put it to the corner over here, 100, etc. Now, I can draw anything with these commands. I can draw maybe the Eiffel Tower if you sat with me for a while, and I could do this and you'd sit here. You'd probably not hang around further. That said, you can also use the forever command. And the forever command is able to draw lines to the mouse coordinate. This is mouse X and mouse Y. And voila, you have this interactive thing. If I slip a piece of paper in between the refreshes, what do I get? I get an interactive line, a stretchable line. I made this in 1999 to enable more people to understand programming. It was an absolute failure because people were like, what? You can only draw in 100 by 100? What? It's only grayscale? What is this? So luckily, I had some very talented graduate students who made something called processing. Processing is actually a real-life open source gigantic project. This is the more recent incarnation called P5JS. You may remember the AI and design work we did with Chef Veronica Ward. I wanted to extend that further. So let's go dig into my favorite topic, semantic code and embeddings. Here we go. So this is a visualizer you can run on your own. You just use an OpenAI key or an Azure OpenAI key. And what you get to see here is a semantic space visualization. Now, you're looking at this and thinking, that's kind of boring. It's 3 points. Well, they're not just points. They're points in the embedding vector space that represent where the word sits. But not just the word. It's 2 words, artificial intelligence, deep learning, natural language. You can actually embed not just a word, but also a sentence or a paragraph. So it's a pretty weird thing. And the way it works is it can calculate the distance between 2 words, words and phrases, phrases and paragraphs. You can also compare a book to a word. And in doing so, you're able to do weird things like I can search for things. Like let's say I'm searching for the phrase, eat an apple. Now that has nothing to do with AI, etc. So the similarity is low, you can see. But if I'm doing something more on point, and I'm saying AI is the future, you see the similarity kind of catches. I get higher similarity numbers. And that's how embeddings work. They are an encoding method that takes words, converts them into long vectors, just like your grandma used to make them, and you can compare any semantic content to anything else. Pretty amazing. Now, what does that give you? It gives you the ability to think in words. Because code, if you remember, designed by numbers, I really have a 20-chapter book trying to teach mathematics to artists and designers. Some of them loved it, some of them didn't like it. Math is somewhat confusing. However, words are things we know. They're great building blocks. Now, I know we've been talking about agents a lot in the world, and I like to say an agent is basically spreadsheet thinking. Those of you remember the early days of Microsoft Excel, still around, by the way. There's competitions in Las Vegas I learned about where people compete to be the greatest in Excel, okay? No joking here, folks. And so spreadsheet is essentially, to me, what agentness is, meaning that each cell in the spreadsheet is always sitting there waiting for input to calculate things. For instance, if I change this number in my little spreadsheet here, I'm going to change that 5 to 500, and what happens is magically propagates the information. Now, what it means is that these cells here that have equations in them, they're sitting in a loop. You'll often hear agents being described as sitting in loops. Hey, spreadsheet cells, they're like very primitive agents. And not only that, you can connect them end to end, and you produce this amazing computational output that's interconnected. So, and I digress as spreadsheets to show you my masterpiece. It is a semantic spreadsheet. I wanted to build this for so long, and South by Southwest gave me the opportunity to do that. So the AI-powered spreadsheet is very simple. Basically, any cell is words, and I can make equations, basically cells that process them. So let me change this text over here. The quick brown fox had a quantum mechanics sandwich. And when I hit return, it propagates that to different cells powered by LLM processors. So if you look in this one here, why did it become French? It's because I have a translate to French command using semantic space. I click on here, I have a combine A1 and B1, so combo platter of two stories put together. And in this one, analyze sentiment. So like, is this a good thing or a bad thing? And it came out neutral. Now, one more thing in this recipe book for you. And this is my delight, because all of you remember the era of Photoshop. Maybe you've heard of it, but it's still around, pretty powerful. Photoshop has this eyedropper tool. It is amazing, right? And the eyedropper tool is everywhere now, where you can like take a color on screen and kind of swoop it up and hold on to it and like swoop it out and spit it out basically. So this is a semantic eyedropper. So all I do is each of these cells has text in them, you see, and I got this idea from the semantic spreadsheet. You take an eyedropper, I'm going to pick up this AIE1, and I can drop it in this empty cell, and it basically generates something similar. So you can imagine what I can do next, right? I'm going to sip up this quantum computing cell, and I'm going to drop it in there. So it's kind of like mixing red dye and blue dye to make purple. I can add this social media stuff, plop it in there, and I'm basically composing something out of a mixture of cells, kind of like messing with paint. Okay, so those are some quick recipes for you to try out in the processing world. Check out this URL to use them yourself. I hope you adapt and love semantic stuff and also embeddings just like grandma used to make them, and realize that it's a different world than mathematics. It's a world of words and statistics, and it's the foundation of the Cozy AI Kitchen. It makes it all cozy for us. Let's stay cozy. Keep tuned in. Bye-bye.